And welcome along, we're here for Formula Aero. It's round 3 of Tier 1 in Season 3. We're back as we were on Monday at the Jeddah Corniche. A couple of people struggling to connect to the lobby. Hopefully we will get them in due course. But I'm going to be alone for a bit tonight. Hopefully going to be joined by a special guest later who hasn't been on the commentary gantry before. At least in this league. It's raced here before, but we'll see when that time comes. ST240611, first guy out on the track in that beautiful 2004, early 2000s inspired Williams around this, what is one of the trickiest street tracks to master. Pickle Alex does actually get in by some stretch of a miracle. The only guy in the league to use the EA app. We love you, EA, but your servers are kind of arse. But ST will be the first to take us out on a lap. Before we speak about that, new starters in the league today. Des Mucky has joined the league. He will be in the Aston Martin from here on out. In the pit lane, in the Red Bull, we've got... what's his name again? I forget his name already. Zando, yeah, I'll remember this eventually. And coming up from Tier 2, we've got UU1P coming sitting in for the night. And a returning favourite of mine, at least, is Hyper295F1. Still sitting in the garage as well. But, you know, he's coming for today just to fill a number. And also just to see how he does. Rian Spencer and that doing quite well. This game is bugged and won't let him turn on manual gears. Yep, that's a game bug. Not a me bug. ST is starting the lap. As we go on here, that's not the data I want. Into turn 1, keeps it nice and clean, but a lot of curb usage is optimal in that part. Down now, heading towards turn 4. Very easy to clip that inside wall there. How many people are going to hit it trying to push on their laps? Through this S section, struggling along through the left-right hander and all of that good section, and at the end of sector 1 it's a 32.3, very solid time, especially for the first guy setting a competitive effort at this point. Use all of the available track on the exit and bring himself in to the next chicane. I don't have a track map up, so I'm not going to keep track of what corner in. That's a big smash on the wall for ST, but he should survive. We run limited damage here for a reason, and it's because we don't want front wings flying left, right and centre. Finish in the middle sector, he's sub 101 here, so this lap from ST is going to be immediately very promising. And he's going to just fling his way through the long left sweeper of the final sector. He's used a lot of battery to achieve the time he has. Cross the line, and I just need to tough. Sorry, Phase Monkey is having issues because he set something up wrong on his end. ST crossed the line, it's 28-2, first lap of the session. Chili Cheese comes in the chat, ST on top for now. And Dennis the Arcade goes faster. So, good times. Des Mucky can't put anything down. Sorry, we're still trying to figure out what's going on with Phase Monkey. Cross the line for Joker. It's P1. And an 27-8. Phase Monkey has finally figured out what's going on. Formula Alien, first effort in Formula Aero, goes not as well as we would have thought. P6 only for him. But Rian Spencer, he's been the top man. It's a 27-4, just about. And I have to say, he's one of the guys we expected to do quite well. UU1P is finishing his first effort. Pulls into the pits to just simply finish that effort. By the way, it's Nathan and Hyper both on laps. Hyper is invalidated, surprisingly. Will recharge the battle, go again. Is that Nathan? FaZe Monkey, should you leave and join? We might have FaZe Monkey leave in a second. Oh, he's retired. It's retired him. So FaZe Monkey's session is over because of all the issues he's been having. Hyper just pulls straight into the pits. Pickle Alex backs off of his lap entirely. Hyper pitted for damage. And by the way, it's Nathan. Quite high up already. Two people, by the way, racing with hand injuries today. ST has injured one of his hands, his right hand, and Hyper, about half an hour before the start, accidentally touched a very hot fire guard, and he's got a burn there now. But by the way, it's Nathan's going to come to the line. I think this will go to the top. It's not quite. Rian Spencer has had the better of him quite often when they've raced each other, and still does in that final sector. The second Alpine of Formula Alien in the background doing some little wiggles on his way into the pits. And we go again. Second lap now for Pickle Alex going down. He didn't manage to do well on his first effort, but will be able to try again. And we just hold on while I have to quickly do something here. And Pickle Alex, first sector, wait, 32-2, 32-9, sorry. Good effort from him. FaZe Monkey wants an invite back. I don't think it will matter, FaZe, but we can see. Quiet Boy still not managed to make it into the session, unfortunately. EA invites and PlayStation invites not working for him, which is a very weird issue. But through the middle sector now, Pickle Alex will finish it up. It's a 101.7. Had the kick Sauber just ahead of him. That would have been, by the way, it's Nathan, who definitely needs everything he can give today. It's not been the best campaign from him thus far. And into the final corner, Pickle Alex will come, hopefully, cleanly to the line for him. No further issues on the lap. He is going to finish the lap, though. It's a 28.8, which is something I don't think I've ever said about Pickle. It's not the best lap in the world. Typically, quite a good effort comes from that man. We'll take a quick look at the standings, at least on mine. Quiet Boy leads for now, but can't get into the lobby. From Johnsy Boy, Rian Spencer, FaZe Monkey, and by the way, it's Nathan Kicksauber doing a good job there right now. 4th and 5th in the drivers. Need to pick up a little bit more to continue on, maybe charging for a Constructors title at the moment in the Constructors. That is FA2. In the Constructors, obviously, Kicksauber, the two strongest performers, won first with a 3 and 8 and then a 2 and 4 second for Williams, though, who have kept them the most honest of anyone, because Quiet Boy, obviously, top of the drivers. His teammate ST has only scored 2 points so far this season. Aston Martin come P3, equal on points with Haas. And then Racing Bulls are in P5, and it's been decent from them. Max not racing tonight. U1P does come to the line. It's P7 only for him, as we've got a few drivers starting laps around the circuit. I think Hyper actually finishing his middle sector right now. So 1 flat 4, and he has a lot of battery. He has heaps of it to use in the final sector. Quiet Boy makes it in with just enough time for 2 runs. I think a saving grace for him in this session, especially as the current championship leader. Hyper's going to come through the final corner. The rest of his battery is going to be dumped to the line. That is a bit risky with how close you're cutting it, but a 27.4 for Hyper. Middle run of the session, but needed to pull something. His teammate is coming just behind Yari and has abandoned, it looks like, 4 tenths up. Or has he? No. He's going to go P2. It's a Mercedes 1-2 as it stands. That isn't something I thought I'd be saying this season. Merc 1-2. Which, I mean, it's a good job from them to really just be keeping people honest. FaZe Monkey is not in the best of moods right now. He will have to start last. Unless Quiet Boy just can't take over someone as well, then Quiet Boy will have to start even behind FaZe. Joker is going to come to the end of his middle sector, and he's a 10th down thereabouts on where Hyper would be. But there is a Haas nicely in front of him. He was well placed to get a good toe, but won't be giving anything away. No advantage to his rival. And through the final corner, Joker comes to the line, 27-7, so we're trying to get people still figuring out what they're doing. Quiet Boy looking to only have one run at this point. Because he's still not managed to figure out how to get into a lobby. Yari, I mean, it's not been his. It's not been his season, let's be very honest. Yari is not showing everything he can do, but across the line he goes, oh! Yari goes pole. 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 Yari's gone 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 pole. What's going on? Why is Yari on pole? Who's driving Yari's car? Who's driving Yari's car? Rian Spencer, please. Be going decent. Rian's invalidated. Nathan, please. Be going faster. This is scaring me. I took my headphones off. I'm stood up now because Yari is legitimately on provisional pole. That's a big snap for Nathan. But Yari's on provisional pole. Yari's on provisional pole. What is this? Witchcraft. I mean, Yari's on provisional pole. Yeah, Yari's on provisional pole, guys. Might be doing a second lap on tyres. Might have been. Doesn't look like a competitive effort, but it was a second lap on tyres. It's the classic Hyper here. Pickle Alex is starting his next competitive effort, and we'll see what's going on with him. Pickle used to be the one that was slow but just had tyres on your side, and Pickle, he's cut those. What? Pickle cut those and survives. That's this game, alright. By the way, it's Nathan. Won't really be making it to another lap. 1.0 on fuel before he's even started the lap. So, by the way, it's Nathan. Surviving. Is Pickle Alex still pushing on? No. But I think has a bit more fuel than, by the way, it's Nathan did. But Yari on pole. Yari's on pole. Yari is on pole. Provisionally. But he is on pole. Yari is on pole. Yari's on provisional pole. Witchcraft. That's all I'm going to say. Quiet Boy will be starting his first effort. The current championship leader. With 4 minutes to go in the session. Is doing well. And Quiet Boy, I mean, needs to pull something up because Yari's just put the fastest lap down over the likes of Hyper, over the likes of Rian Spencer, and by the way, it's Nathan. And Quiet Boy's going to finish Sector 1. It's a 32.5, so not the fastest we've seen. But obviously, late joining the lobby, a lot of stress because he has to get these efforts together. And quite easily. Rian Spencer says he's got maybe half a second in his lap. If we see a 26 go down in this session, I'm going to lose my mind. Desmucky hasn't had a proper run yet, apparently, but we'll see what goes on. Quiet Boy is not really there at the moment. 101.0, a lot further down than would be expected from these guys. Hyper saying that Yari has the 2019 Ferrari engine. Is that pre-Singapore or post-Singapore? I think that's where we've got to ask. Through the final corner though, Quiet Boy is going to come and finish a lap here. It's not going to be provisional pole. It might not even be top 5. He's going to cross the line. It's a 28-1 for Quiet Boy, and I think that is his session, unfortunately, over. Dennis DRK is up a minor amount in Sector 1, really minuscule, and that's where you make up a lot of your time on this lap. There's a few corners here and there, and that looked very much on the limit through turns 16 and 7. That's turns 16 and 17? Christ on a bike, and he's backed off. He's tapped the wall. He's not got fuel to go again. So Dennis DRK will not improve his final effort. UU1P is behind ST on track. ST comes through the first sector. He's found some time, but the places he's lost time is in this middle and final sector, and once again the battery usage looking a bit higher for ST around this lap in the first and middle sector, so maybe still a chance that Quiet Boy could just absolutely demolish his teammate. But Quiet Boy still not going to get another run. Dennis DRK retires, thankfully, in the pit lane, and not so his AI can impede anyone. Through the end of the middle sector he goes. ST, if he had more battery, would have been right on track with those leaders, but he's burnt it all. But his teammate is there. Is this going to be some team games from Williams? No, none at all. ST's like, I want some tow. Quiet Boy's like, get in the bin. ST's not really improved much. Does he have much more to give to the line? Did that tow give him absolutely anything? He crossed the line. It's a 3/10 improvement, but it's not what he needed. Overall, Joker was down in Sector 1 on his effort. The guy that needs to challenge a bit harder for pole does still have time to get around for one more run. Rian Spencer, end of Sector 1, is a 10th up. He is ahead of Yari, currently on pace. But time can be won and lost everywhere around here. Sector 1's the big gains. How much more battery did he maybe have to use to achieve his goals through the left-right chicane of turns 16 and 17, and now it's flat out through the turns of 18, 19, 20, and now 21. These aren't really corners in an F1 car, but now it's hard on the brakes. He's 2/10 up at the end of that middle sector, and there's only one more braking zone to go on the exit of the final corner, turn 27. This long straight is 2 corners. Quiet Boy retires. His session is done. Through the final corner for Rian Spencer. He's looked to have hooked it up quite well this lap. Joker has started his final effort as well. But Rian Spencer will be the first to cross the line. And it's a 27-2 from Rian Spencer. It's all he could have done. Who is that at the end of the middle sector? That's ST, who has recharged. No more time in the session, though. That's him done. Des Mucky will now be the first driver to come to the line. Rian Spencer's just sent himself into our wall to give us all the fun. Please don't leave, guys. I think this removes your times, because I know Richie set a time, unless he didn't. But Des Mucky is very much up in the middle sector, actually, now that we're paying attention a little bit more, and he's going to find himself easily deep into that top 10, maybe just around where ST is in 7th place. His time advantage seemed to do about the same. Overall, Joker got wing damage, apparently. That ended his session. That ended his charge for pole. Des Mucky crossed the line. It's 28-0. Splits the Williams. Pickle Alex next 2 cross the line. Stays in P11. By the way, it's Nathan. Has Yari in front of him. Yari, nothing to give. No more time in that car. By the way, it's Nathan crossed the line. He can't quite beat Rian. And Hyper has some time in that car, apparently. He crossed the line. It's a 26-9. And that is pole position for Hyper 295 F1. Finds the time, has an injured hand, and still manages pole. A 26-9. That came from nowhere, unless he just pulled a little bit of Mercedes in 2026 and sandbagged it. But it's P1 for Hyper, and by quite a margin to everyone else. We'll be back very shortly for the race. And we are back to live, a little bit slower than I expected to be. Rian Spencer has been promoted to pole after Hyper295 F1 took a willing grid penalty to the back. He apparently wanted to have a bit of fun today or something, which promotes the Ferrari to the second row lockout after Dennis DRK is also serving a grid penalty. But, as always, it is time for tyre time. So, looking down the grid, the top 11 are all starting on mediums, those absolute bore fests. Obviously, mediums will put out good grip. You expect to do just under half the race on them before you switch to the tyre that P12 and P15 drivers what's his name again? Zando and Hyper are starting on. Hyper willingly dropping that far back, so a little bit messed up to be on hards. Hyper and Stranger are getting grid penalties again. Look at these gaps. Do these guys not know do these guys really not know that the rule from last week that everyone broke? Everyone broke the rule on the gap on the formation lap. It was called out last week, so Hyper, if he finishes today, will need to do an immense job, as will Stranger McD, who's pulling even worse of a gap at this point in time. So, interesting stuff. Yari is P3. Last time out in Brazil, Yari was P3 at the start. So, Yari, let's see, he's going to pull into his grid slot right now. He's in 5th gear, getting ready to line up here. Is he going to line it up beautifully? Des Mucky's managed to muck it up. Bit of a mucky set for him. Zando's managed to screw it up. Who else is going to manage to fail at parking an F1 car? Not Dennis DRK, but looked a little bit far back. Hyper will be lining up second last on the grid, and final spot on the grid will be taken up by Stranger McD. Zando says he's had a power cut immediately before the race. We don't have time to focus on that though, because it is time for a duel in a not-so-deserty desert. It's 5 red lights. Rian on pole. Nathan in second. Yari starts P3. It is lights out. And away we go. Yari looked to get away well, but it's slower than his teammate, who immediately jumps up to P3. Rian Spencer covers the inside into turn 1, gets the position. Down to P5 for Yari. And it's down to last for ST with wing damage. He is in the wall. They're sliding all over the background, and Rian still leads. Stranger McD has made his way to 10th. Hyper is trying to fight his way around his teammate. It's wheel to wheel, and Hyper does get ahead of the second Mercedes car. Richie is trying to dive all over the back of his rival FaZe Monkey, down to P9 as it stands. And he is under pressure from Stranger McD. A fast starting Haas, but into turn. The number's not on my screen because the map's that big. 13, FaZe Monkey up the inside of Pickleaxe. They're going to keep going wheel to wheel all the way into turns 16 and 17. FaZe Monkey takes the place. Pickle Alex is going to want to fight back. You know Pickle Alex is going to be feeling aggressive right now. He is one of those drivers that can just be aggressive when he wants to and hand out all the punishment in the world. Hyper up to P11 already. Surprisingly, worse starting than the Haas, who was behind him. The guy requested to be 15th, not 16th, and it's not paid off for him. Richie and Formula Ilian, whatever his name is, I don't know how to say it, having a duel. Formula Ilian into the final corner on the inside of Richie. Just can't get the rotation down the way he wants to. Rian Spencer, fastest lap of the race, but it's looking a bit tasty further ahead. Here comes Quiet Boy. He's going to fight it now on Yari. They're going to be wheel to wheel in turn 1. Yari just bullied out a little bit, down to P6. But will he try and stick it with Quiet Boy? No, not the balls to quite go for that move into there. It's not an unreasonable thing to ask. There's contact between Ilian and Richie. Both of them get away with it, but I think Ilian gave back the position there. Good on you, Ilian. Good on you. Both of them go 3 miles wide. Anyway, in that next right-hander. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what my lefts and rights are. I need to pull up my hands for a second. Into turn 13. Ilian tries to go up the inside. It was just very misjudged there. And now Hyper is looking aggressive. He is looking angry in that Mercedes. Driving with an injury, as is ST, the Williams, currently last in the field. And here comes Hyper. He's going to try and do it. He's going to pull the Piastri move up the inside. It's a little bit of a squeeze from Stranger McD, a little bit of contact. I think I put Stranger McD into the wall around this track once. By the way, it's Nathan up in front, has taken the lead. Not really much defence from Rian Spencer as Des Mucky goes up the inside. They're 3 wide. Des Mucky and Rian in the wall. And Joker is now on the back of Nathan. And the chasing pack has been given the opportunity to close. Nathan and Joker are going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1. Can Nathan hold it on that inside line? Switches to the outside and he's just about got the run he needed. Quiet Boy now just about staying ahead of Des Mucky. And I mean, managing to recover quite well from what was a poor qualifying, poor connection in qualifying as well. Really not helping there. As we love to see this onboard camera, you can see absolutely everything going on from it. Pickle Alex gets past FaZe Monkey. FaZe Monkey, I think, just mounted the curb as Des Mucky is the first one to get a penalty around here. And now Stranger McD on FaZe Monkey, gonna look at the outside. Can't do anything about him just yet, but maybe a chance coming up. Stranger McD with a little bit of wing damage, I think. No, might have just been mistaken in that wing damage thought. I definitely was. And Dennis DRK, who needs to recover from that 5-place grid penalty, had that already dropped into P9 on the grid on the back of the Haas driver. But everyone looking pretty sensible at the moment. A couple of bits of contact, but nothing serious, nothing breaking fans' hearts. No one is dead just yet. And I say just yet because Joker's up the inside of the final corner on Nathan. The last time people were wheel to wheel in there, there was a bit of contact. Yari has a big wobble, and that could put him under a bit of pressure now from UU1P. This is not biased commentary, as I think Stranger McD is around. Rian Spencer gets past Joker, so Nathan keeps the lead. Rian Spencer P2. Gary manages to keep P6 for now. And I say for now because there is an angry looking Red Bull. A Red Bull who we've seen in Tier 2, by the way. UU1P has been in the mud. ORL Joker there with damage, and Yari is going around him on the outside. Yari overtakes his teammate. Stranger McD gets himself disqualified from the session. What was Stranger McD doing? ORL Joker is falling and falling fast, and now UU1P has his opportunity. Is he going to go for it on the outside? No, not quite. Little bit of contact. Pickle Alex even trying to look up the inside here. These guys are trying to scrap it out properly on the streets of the Jeddah Corniche into 16 and 17 now. Yari has a little gap ahead of him, but he has a rear gunner as it stands. His teammate, ORL Joker, is just going to be able to hold the fort, provided DRS is powerful enough here. UU1P might fancy a little something, though, as Hyper definitely fancies a little something. I think there was contact there that put him a bit off kilter. And Yari, low on battery, needs to be a bit careful because he might lose this leading pack in a moment if he can't do anything through this final braking zone, through the final corner, just to stay within that DRS. But I think he just about manages to. He's not, though. He's not in DRS with those front guys. He's got no battery, really. Into turn 1, Rian Spencer, outside of Nathan, with wing damage, by the way, this Haas. Going on his mate, trying to make the move stick. It was a bit of a squeeze. It was a bit of argy-bargy, but move made. Yari is going to be fuming now. He's got his teammate behind him, who has damage. Ahead of him, sorry, with damage. Not really making any sort of help for that Ferrari team at this point in time, at this point in the proceedings. But Joker has closed up. I think that was a mistake for UU1P, who's dropped a couple of places now. And Hyper, did Hyper go off track to overtake UU1P? Because that looks like he's had to back off there. They are going to go wheel to wheel, though, through the long left-hander, and they're still side by side. UU1P said the racing in Tier 2 was shit. I agreed with him, and then he manages to go wheel to wheel in a corner cleanly. I don't think he's had that experience yet in Formula Aero, ladies and gentlemen. Out in front, though, ORL Joker needs to do something. His teammate is going to be livid right now with the gap that is beginning to form. It's actually closed in a bit, but, you know, this dirty air's not going to help his tyres. It's not going to help him, especially with an angry-looking Mercedes towards the back. It's 3 wide into the final corner. Des Mucky has gone for a dive. He's took the lead momentarily, but he's got Nathan now and Rian, who are both going to be looking angry as anything, angrier than a Red Bull on a Saturday night when Max Verstappen has hit the wall. Rian Spencer takes back the lead. Nathan will slot into P2 for now, and Quiet Boy doing a tremendous job as it stands to stick around in P4, with Joker just looming ever closer, bringing that train a bit further forward. We're about to see a DRS train from P1 through P11, and then we've got that little gap towards the back. Richie pulls into the pit lane. Again, surprisingly, is this going to be a retirement from the V-Carb? The first actual retirement from the race. The second person out of this race, because Zonard was disqualified. Third person, sorry, because Zonard and Strange McD were disqualified from the event. Dennis the Arcane, FaZe Monkey, I didn't notice this. The gap has dropped, and now wheel to wheel. Is FaZe Monkey going to be able to do anything on the recovering Mercedes? He's going to try and look for it, but just nothing going for him. No reason to really risk it. But look at this, what Joker is doing right now for his team. You know, team effort, team race. Here goes Hyper to the inside of Pickle Alex once again. Was that to the inside or was that inside Pickle Alex? I couldn't tell you. Des Mucky now really trying to go for it. By the way, it's Nathan in the Kick Sauber. He might be looking to do it again into the final corner. Des Mucky takes the lead again, but it's the same scenario as we've had at the last couple laps. He dives into the lead through the final corner, and then he's immediately back under threat, under the battery amount he needs, and into turn 1. It's only one that gets through this time, even though Nathan was trying to have a good look. UU1P has dropped a couple of places on that straight, though, to Hyper and to Pickle Alex, and Hyper gets a big snap on the exit. UU1P makes the position back up. They're going to go wheel to wheel. There's contact. UU1P is off. And here goes Dennis DRK as well. Going to try and hang it in the S section. He makes the position up. Hyper is going to look back at trying to make a move. Can't do anything. Amends need to be made. I think there's a bit of contact, a bit of spinning for Formula Alien and ST. Not a great day for ST as it stands. He's hurt his hand and now he's a bit in the mud. ORL Joker, and by the way, it's Nathan a wheel to wheel. By the way, it's Nathan must have made a mistake because Joker has got ahead of the Kick Sauber, who does seem to have a decent battery level and might try and charge back here. But there's 2 Ferraris in this battle, and both of them aren't going to be too kind to a Kick Sauber, especially if you make a mistake like that. A little bit deep, a little bit of a better run maybe for Yari's Ferrari. Yari, the Belgian waffle, is going to make a move. By the way, it's Nathan, a guy we didn't think he'd even challenge. By the way, it's Nathan. It's going to look into the final corner. They are going to go wheel to wheel. Space is nicely given, but Nathan now, no battery left in the tank. Yari with a good bit more, and that is the position kept. Des Mucky has finally learned, will take the lead officially in this race and be able to hold it as Quiet Boy and Joker continue their scraps, continue to try and do things. Nathan continues dropping away. Rian Spencer and Des Mucky, they're going to try it, people. Des Mucky gets a bit fortunate that Rian decides to back out there. He was fully entitled to have a little go. But now Yari needs to recharge a little bit, surprisingly even with his teammate on the battery front. And surprisingly, the top 11 have still stuck together in DRS, despite mistakes, despite overtakes, despite battles. Everything going on. The top 10 coming together quite nicely. Through turn 13 we go. Hyper is going to try it on his teammate. Hyper couldn't get through and makes a massive snap on the exit. Drops down back to P10 behind FaZe Monkey. Is this intentional to make him sandbag a bit, or is he actually struggling out there? Yari needs to figure out what he's doing. This yellow flag, Formula Alien pulls it into the pits. He is out of the race. He has finished his proceedings. Yari now, I think, in one of the better positions on this track to try and go for a podium. 2 guys ahead of him, both with wing damage. His teammate in ORL, Joker, newly crowned as ORL instead of Owls. It's the same guys, different abbreviation. Dennis DRK is going to go for it on Nathan again. Nathan, we know, kills his tyres and is slowly dropping down the field. Quiet Boy is in. First of the pit stoppers comes from the Williams. He's going for an undercut here as proceedings stay kind of nose to tail actually right now. Hyper's made a mistake in turn 1. He's backwards. He's just got nothing left. His rear end is gone. And Hyper cuts that DRS train from 10 to 9 now, as he is now plumb last out of proceedings. Desmucky's doing very well. One of the guys in the top 3. The only top 3 driver on this track right now with a full front wing. ST pulls into the pits. Undoubtedly, yeah, he retires from the race. I'm not surprised for him. He has an injury. He's been carrying it. And, you know, good job for you, ST. Just at least showing up today. Giving it what you could. ORL Joker has now, I think, just about lost DRS. We will see here. Fran is in the chat, obviously. Hyper, a championship rival of Fran's from other leagues. And Hyper has had a couple of issues there. Joker is actually starting to pull a bit from his teammate. I think this is a tyre delta starting to form between the grid. Who's pushed, who's saved a little bit more. But Yari really needs to try and close back in on his teammate to get a bit more effectiveness from his toe. Just not able to do it on these exits. A couple of drivers pulling in. I think Yari wanted to pull in there. But Joker and Desmucky, the first of the lead pack to jump. And now Yari is truly defenseless. Needs some sort of driving on this lap to, one, defend as heavily as possible from the undercut. And to not lose out too much to Rian Spencer in the Haas ahead of him. He's done well so far. He hasn't binned it completely. Desmucky and ORL Joker are going to come out a decent chunk behind Quiet Boy. Desmucky was leading Quiet Boy, obviously, earlier on. ORL Joker didn't choose to change his front wing, surprisingly. I felt it's drivable, maybe, but when push comes to shove, will it truly be what he needs? Because right now, sticking around the same pace as Desmucky, who's in dirty air from a driver you may argue is slower than himself. But this lead group, once again, it's pit stop decision making time for these guys. Anyone that didn't start hard, which I think is the entire top 7, yeah. The entire top 7 no longer on the hard compounder tyre. And surely it's this or next lap they're considering boxing. The yellow flag in Sector 3. It's that Pickle Alex who's just dropped. He's had a spin. He's stopped on the track right now. This is not what he needs. This is not what he needs to be doing. Rian Spencer, is he going to come into the pits? No. Yari does. He's going to make a decision to go. Dennis stays out. FaZe Monkey comes in. That'll be an undercut for him on his teammate. Hyper staying out. Obvious reasons for that. But where's this all going to filter out? The leader of the pit stoppers was Yari on the way in. Quiet Boy, I think, is about to clear this entire group of cars. Obviously short of pit exit. But he has cleared them, and by some margin at this point. That is the way to do it around here. Come out of the pits, and Yari has a 3-second gap back to his teammate. The undercut around here is mentally insane. It's criminal. How much you gain on an undercut. 3 seconds was what Yari lost out to his teammate. And now the pressure may be on for him. Rian Spencer will have some pressure on him as well. And UU1P is going to have some pressure, because he's got a Mercedes on what will be lightning levels of tyre wear compared to UU1P, even with the spins and snaps for Hyper, as he does a beautiful demonstration for us directly on the screen. Pickle Alex leaves the session. Unsurprisingly, he's done. He's had enough. Good day to you, sir. But can Hyper now do anything? Can Desmucky do anything? Needs to get a gap, really. And thinking that Rian Spencer's about to be undercut to wall oblivion, as Dennis DRK was so close to Yari. on the way into that final sector, Jari, I think, still hasn't learnt. He's burning his battery a little too late. He's going to have someone get a run on him. Desmucky does go past Quiet Boy. Are they going to stay wheel to wheel? Who got DRS? It is Quiet Boy with the DRS now. So Quiet Boy is going to go for a move here on Desmucky. He's going to try and take the position back on the inside of turn 1. Quiet Boy maintains P1. Desmucky just can bottom out a little too hard here. It's wheel to wheel on the track for FaZe Monkey and Jari. And Jari does end up just behind Rian Spencer, who's come out on a fresher set of hard tyres again. And I think more surprisingly, Nathan has stayed out for another lap. A driver you think maybe kills his tyres a little bit more is currently surviving on 12 lap old mediums plus a formation lap. Nathan's in the wall. As I put my drink down, Nathan, sliding around, hits the wall. And I think this, I might be mistaken, but this could be race over for the Kick Sauber driver, who really needed something to go well for him here. And he's made a mistake. He's put himself in the wall. Quiet Boy's going to have a bit more defense from Desmucky this lap, which, by the way, Quiet Boy has now got a pit stop gap to Nathan. That's not going to be easy to make up, especially if he needs to switch. Hyper's in. Interesting tactics for Hyper. Comes into the pits, what I thought would be very early. Dennis DRK has somehow come out on top of this entire battle. Rian Spencer is going back through. But FaZe Monkey still has Jari to deal with. This FaZe Monkey going to go for it on Dennis DRK into turn 1. A little bit of contact, a little bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of wheel hooking, a little bit of into the wall. For FaZe Monkey, shown the wall there by Dennis. Or was that Dennis being shown the wall by FaZe? But either way, Jari keeps his P6 for the time being. And I think even with everything going on, Jari has driven a phenomenal race compared to what we anticipate from him. ORL Joker has slowly but surely closed in on this front duo. Richie has hit the turn 4, and that is a safety car coming out. Richie. Turn 4 exists, you know, mate. But safety car is out. The grid are mostly on fresh tyres. And I don't know who's going to think about maybe getting a medium tyre on and going to the end on that. I mean, Hyper has just put one on, so he obviously thinks he can go to the end. The numbers say he can go to the end, but it's tight. And I mean, you see how he was already sliding around on his hards before. Has he brought a harder allocation? Maybe has anyone brought a harder allocation and made the decision they want to go again? Nathan's the biggest loser here because everyone can pit right now and they would still beat him. The top 7 all could come into the pits, get a fresh set of tyres on and go to the end. Quiet Boy stays out. Desmucky, very late commitment, as with ORL Joker, Rian Spencer, no brainer. Dennis DRK stays out. Jari is in. FaZe Monkey is in. UU1P stays out. Hyper295 obviously stays out. As someone who's joined my call, I don't know who this is.
This is ST Leo.
Oh, ST from being in... Are you still in the lobby, ST?
I am, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Co-commentator, surprise co-commentator that I totally was going to use is ST. The guy that actually was going to come co-commentate ended up just not being able to make it back on time. Hopefully he's doing well, though. ST, I mean... What happened in that race for you anyway? I'll do a quick interview before you become my co-commentator.
So, I'm trying to overtake the Alpine. He just dive bombs around the outside, squeezes me into the wall, I get wing damage. Then I go past him on the next straight. Then he just absolutely dive bombs me off the track, gets a 10-second penalty. And then when I try to overtake him, he just blocks me off the track and then he retired.
Interesting stuff from UST. Obviously, qualifying didn't seem the best for you the last lap. You did finally manage to hook up. What do you think of Hyper's lap? in the end of qualifying.
I mean, this guy is just too fast for this tier.
Yeah, I mean, up in P4 right now, I don't know if you actually caught any of Hyper's shenanigans in the first stint, but he was a bit of a tyre killer to that hard, and medium for 13 laps to the end. Do you think that's even manageable if he was already killing the tyres so desperately?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, if he can manage them, I think maybe, but if he did so bad on his first stint, probably not.
Our final question, and I think this is quite an obvious one from the person who's leading this race. Why are you letting down Williams again, ST?
So, P5, I thought it could be a decent race. Then I just get spun around in turn 1. I don't know what happened there. And then, yeah, the Alpine. I don't even want to speak out its name.
So I've actually been asked another thing here. So, ST, you've been told by Richie to just don't get hit. Any comment to that?
By Richie?
Yeah.
I haven't talked with Richie before the race.
Interesting. And Shamrock has come into the chat. He wants you to know. He wants to ask one thing.
Yes.
What are your thoughts of in our partner league, United Racing Championship, owned by the It's Shamrock, being placed into the Kick Sauber car? Very good mind, you've got 2 Kick Sauber drivers in a very good position in this league, and you've got a very big Kick Sauber fanboy on the commentary with you.
Obviously, like I let Sham know before, I'm very excited to race for Kick Sauber next season in URC.
Yeah, okay. Very good, very good. Des Mucky has said he's had a great race. I think he's paused right now. Thankfully, we don't do that stupid rule anymore, ST. I'm not enforcing
that was my favorite rule, though.
Yeah, I know it was your favourite rule, ST. Every time someone broke that rule, you were the one that opened the ticket.
I have something to report, though.
Oh, interesting.
Hyper, I did the Sonny Hayes.
Oh, no, we caught that. Don't worry. We caught that. There's 3 people, I think,
that's good,
that are going to be investigated after the session for the excessive gap on a formation lap. We actually still have that rule in place because it didn't get exploited in previous seasons because we didn't have the formation lap on after, like, I think it was Jeddah of FA Season 1. We turned off the formation lap after that. Oh, no, was it? No, I think it was after Japan because I think I drove a formation lap in Japan.
Yeah,
safety car is in
the
this lap. Safety car's in this lap. Hyper is P4, the only guy on the mediums in that top 4. Quiet Boy, your teammate, my GOAT, he's launched out the final corner, and that is a great restart from Quiet Boy. Schooling everyone who does restarts in how to do them, but it's a big toe down towards turn 1, and he could be left under a bit of pressure from the Mercedes. Oldest tyres on the grid for Quiet Boy. He was the first to jump on the undercut, but we are green flag again here in Saudi Arabia, despite the game saying otherwise, and Quiet Boy gets a good restart, doing very well. FaZe Monkey and Nathan is getting very close, and Yari has cleared Rian Spencer on the restart. ST.
Yari's pace isn't bad, it's just his start was shit again.
Oh, Hyper's got wide! Oh, that was nearly a very resafe unjoinly from Hyper. And now it's going to be 3 wide into the long left-hander. Well, at least tried to be. I think FaZe Monkey got a little bit of contact on the back of Hyper. Hyper's already lost DRS to Des Mucky, by the way. I'm sure that'll come back in time for DRS. Stranger McD has finally left the session somehow, and we are back fully green, and now Quiet Boy will be the man under pressure for the rest of this race. The oldest tyres out of anyone. Those mediums, though, do drop off, and they drop off hard, as we saw in the first stint. ST, you know about how the mediums drop off. How did they drop for you?
I didn't drive on those mediums, Leo. 1 lap.
Interesting. Alright, Des Mucky up the inside of UU1P. A little bit of contact. UU1P forced a bit to the wall. Tier 2 driver, by the way, ST. Tier 2 driver. in P4 right now in FA. It's 3 wide across the line. Quiet Boy, Des Mucky, and Dennis DRK into turn 1. Quiet Boy is going to have to try and have a go back at Dennis. Can't quite do anything. Nice microphone, ST. That is incredible on the stream. Des Mucky, P1 from Dennis, from Quiet Boy. UU1P, Tier 2 driver, by the way, in P4. Great job from him, really, today. Because, you know, he's been really shafted in Tier 2. And all of a sudden he's come into Tier 1, he's excelled. But that's a little bit of a mistake, and that is probably Joker thinking about a way through. At this stage in the proceedings, around the outside, can Joker hang it? Did he actually repair that wing? He did. Surprisingly so. And Joker is going to try and have to fight this out. He does get through on UU1P and will start his charge further forward, aiming for his first race win in Formula Aero, which has been, I think, a bit longer awaited for than most people. Joker currently P6 in the drivers after a poor race. By the way, it's Nathan maybe losing a place to his teammate here. They're wheel to wheel through the fast chicane. And somehow neither of them are fully in the wall. I think Nathan just making a bit of a wobble and getting in the wall slightly. Yeah, Rian's right behind them. Dennis has taken the lead. I'm sure that'll go back to Des Mucky very quickly. Up the inside looks FaZe Monkey. Nice attempt from him. Joker's in the wall again!
Oh no.
Yari, do it. Do it. Do it, Yari. Yeah! Yari into P9. It's the 9-10 for Ferrari. That's 3 wide ahead. Oh my god, how has FaZe Monkey been the only one to have a little spin from that? Rian, Nathan, and FaZe Monkey 3 wide, and Joker might just lose back out to FaZe Monkey. Go on, fellas, do it. Ah, boring, guys.
You were talking about that Tier 2 driver earlier, but I think he's the one that ruined my race in first place.
Look, ST, he's a Tier 2 driver and he's fighting here. Give him a break, ST.
No, but okay. I want it fair and square here.
Yeah, you might. I don't think you won in Season 1 because you probably finished behind me on that day. I remember Stranger McD, who was disqualified early on in this race. I remember sending him into the wall here while he was driving an Alpine.
No, was it in Tier 1 or Tier 2?
Tier 1.
Tier 1? No, I crashed in Tier 1.
You crashed in Tier 1, yeah. I put Stranger McD into a wall in Tier 1. Which is quite funny.
Yeah.
ORL Joker does get past his teammate. Quite expectedly, I think. Does Yari have more battery? Does Yari have the DRS? Is Yari going to go for it? Is Yari, my favourite driver, IamNotBiased.com/it's Leopold, going to make a move? No, he's not. He's going to wait for another straight. That's a snap on the exit, though. And that is probably FaZe Monkey through into P9. And the position lost for the time being. Dennis still can't do anything. Rian gets back past Nathan. And, I mean, Yari looked out a little bit in turn on the main straight, like he was going to go for a dive. He's actually trying to go for it on FaZe Monkey. Go on, Yari. Try it for me.
They're going to crash.
Go on. Wheel to wheel. Oh, FaZe Monkey's, I think, backed out there. Oh, me and Quiet Boy, after FA2 ST, went onto this track because we wanted to prove it was raceable. We went side by side 3 times for that corner. Only once did we make contact.
It's more than raceable.
Every corner on this track is raceable.
Yeah.
We have enough respect for each other.
That's why I love this track.
Well, it's a love-hate relationship at times because Turn 4 is also a prick.
Yeah.
Richie has said, "What do you think about the What do you think about their Champions League game?" Champions League game. I don't know what he's on about because I'm not following the Champions League. But go ahead.
3 words for Richie. Fuck off, Richie.
Oh, I don't know what's happened there. Hyper. Wheel to wheel with Des Mucky. There's contact onto Des Mucky. Des Mucky's resending it on Hyper. Lap fresher tyres for Des Mucky, who has a big snap on the exit. And now Hyper thinking about getting the lead here in Jeddah. The guy that started P15 and almost last. Got a free position from Stranger and Zando. Now takes the lead. But how long will he have those tyres on for? UU1P seems to have dropped a few places there because he's ended up behind Yari. And just ahead of FaZe Monkey, well, back 2 drivers on the grid. By the way, it's Nathan. Still, by the way, in P7, struggling quite heavily this race. But it's not surprising. Nathan's been bad on his tyres, and that's been his main issue. He's currently P5 in the drivers with a P8 and a P3 on the record, just ahead of the guy he's just behind. But I don't think even a change in... Actually, no, Owl's Joker will go ahead of Nathan if the positions stay like this. But I was saying about Kick Sauber as well. They're leading the Constructors right now. Not by much, but they are leading. Yeah, because, by the way, it's Nathan and FaZe Monkey have just been consistent enough. And, you know,
I've also been consistent in not scoring points.
Yeah, Quiet Boy hasn't really had a teammate this season. Here goes Hyper back on Dennis, surely just going to hang it around the outside of his teammate in the final corner. Nice little bit of defence for the Mercs as well. But Dennis surely will just have him straight back now. Des Mucky might even be trying to go for it, make it 3 wide. Des Mucky seems to have a bit more straight line speed than the trio. Into turn 1, 3 wide. Dennis is the one to back out. Hyper, I think, maybe pushing Des Mucky off the track, and that's not how you do it, Des. You gotta slow down a bit more than that, or you're going to get a penalty. Into turn 4, they're wheel to wheel, they're making contact there for P1. Des Mucky takes back the lead, but that looked a little bit scrappy, a little bit all over the place, and Gary needs to start capitalising, because all these guys battling ahead, making mistakes, is a little bit far back to do anything. Surprisingly though, he's P8. And if I take a look at my standings, Yari bottles everything. He's currently matching his best result this season.
Yeah, but Rian has got ahead of Quiet Boy. That's not really good for me and for the Constructors. But I think the best shot of winning, definitely Rian or Dennis, because they don't have any penalties, and Des Monkey with 6 seconds and Hyper with 3 seconds. And yeah, Hyper's just gonna have
big snap for Hyper, even more. There's contact.
Oh no!
It's Mercedes.
Yari even P6.
He's up to P6. Both Mercs retire on the spot. That is contact between teammates.
Why did I retire?
In the bin. ORL Joker up to the podium places, but out of DRS of that top 2 already. What can Yari do now? Has he been... He's not saved his battery. Really, Yari? I taught you all of this like months ago. It's 3 wide up in front, but Quiet Boy keeps it back down a little bit more. By the way, it's Nathan. Can't get himself back onto the podium as it stands. So, right now, as it is, it's Rian Spencer and Des Mucky going for the win. Des Mucky currently, I think, drops to P6. On penalties, let's pull up the penalties graphic and let's pull up the gap to leader, since that's kind of important. Yari spins!
No.
Yari. Yari. Man. I mean, it's still P8, but Yari, the Belgian waffle, has waffled a little too hard today. He's got a little bit excited. He was a bit high up.
Too high for him.
That just replays on my laptop as well. Just goes around. I saw it happen just off board. I didn't want to believe it was Yari, but it had to be. The Belgian waffle in the wall. In the walls once again. Can he recover from this? Maybe just to get UU1P, who is going wheel to wheel with FaZe Monkey. And you see, respect, fellas. Respect. I'm sure UU1P is going to be happy. Dennis has called Hyper Nico Rosberg right now. Not very happy. The guys were racing hard. Hyper's tyres, well, his tyre management is crap. I think he had a qualifying setup on though. Rian Spencer's about to go for the lead. He doesn't need it, but he's going to go for it into turn 1. And Des Mucky is really having to fight this out now. On the outside, can he do anything, Des Mucky? No, he can't. And maybe this will just allow Joker to bring that battle back forward. UU1P keeps P6 for the time being. He won't finish there unless he can pull away from FaZe Monkey, and that's really pull away and get to that top 5 battle. Been a lot of retirements today, and surprisingly, only 3 have been from crashes, and one of them was a big one. between the two Mercedes, an explosion of carbon fibre between the two Mercedes, and I think right now a bit of an explosion in the channels. Dennis DRK, slub on my arse, you were on fucking mediums. Yeah, not very happy in that Mercedes camp. And ORL Joker, now back in the DRS. This front train has got to DRS, but Quiet Boy is going to drop a little bit off the back. Can Yari do anything, actually? Now that I think about it, you know, UU1P and FaZe Monkey, if they keep battling as they are, or if UU1P gets another warning like that,
no,
Yari could get back into this. Desmucky up the inside of Rian. The lead goes back to Desmucky, but Rian Spencer now needs to get it back. Needs to not be held up at all in this battle, and he will take back the lead quite happily into turn 1, and Joker joins the fray with 2 laps to go in this race. Are UU1P and FaZe Monkey going to go through anything? No, not this lap. They're feeling a little bit nicer to each other at the moment, and they're not going to keep scrapping it out. On board with Desmucky through the S's. Those mediums have held on surprisingly well towards the end of this one. But a little mistake, a little whoopsie from the Aston Martin driver. I was talking about his tyres looking fine. He's now just had to burn a bit more than the Ferrari behind him to stay in DRS, and more crucially to keep that P2. But it's another wobble. He's having a lot of troubles with those tyres now. They're reaching that point in their life at this point. Can Joker do anything though? He needs either Desmucky to overtake Rian and himself to be able to follow through, or a beautiful overtaking sequence on this next lap, which will be the final tour of this Jeddah Corniche circuit. I think Joker is going to get him at this point. The battery is better for the Ferrari. He's going to use a bit more. Which way is he going to go? He's going to the outside. He's allowed the space. He's going to hang it. He's going a bit deep. And he's not going to be able to get anything done. But that's a big slide for Desmucky. It's wing damage for Joker. And that is not what he needed coming onto the final lap. I mean, I guess it levels out with what Rian had. But Rian no longer with that wing damage. He's got a full wing on the car to start this final lap. And Sparks starting to fly into turn 1. FaZe Monkey still not doing anything. Yari losing out heaps of time right now against UU1P and FaZe Monkey. But Rian Spencer now needs this first sector to be perfect. He needs to make almost a qualifying lap out of it. Just to pull the bit of the gap now down towards the hairpin of turn 13. What can Rian do? Desmucky's tyres looking more than worse for wear at this stage in the proceedings. And Rian, as it stands, will be out of that DRS advantage if and only if Desmucky has a poor exit from here as well. But it looked good, it looked enough, and that's what counted. It was enough for Desmucky. He's going to have DRS, but he's had to burn a bit of battery, and both of these guys are going to be incredibly low going in to the final part of this lap, the final part of this race. It's lap 25 of 25. It's been going like this from the start, back and forth, out in front. But who has the more battery? Who has the commitment? Is Desmucky going to go for it? He's going to go to the outside. He's been doing this all day. He's going to try and switch it. But Rian Spencer is there. It's a big snap on the exit for Desmucky. So Rian Spencer in Jeddah is going to come home to be a new race winner here in Formula Aero. ORL Joker gets up to P2 on account of the penalties. It's P3 for Nathan. Quiet Boy finishes P4 after Desmucky's penalty. It's P5 for Desmucky, 6th for FaZe Monkey, 7th for UU1P. Yari will cross the line, last in the running order. And what a race we've had from all of these guys. How in God's name did we see so much battling? I mean, Rian Spencer to pick up his second podium, his first win in Formula Aero. Joker, second podium in a row, second P2 in a row. And then Nathan, second P3 in a row, trying to help Kick Sauber keep their advantage in that constructors fight. Quiet Boy, after a poor qualifying, could only manage P4 today. P5 for Des Monkey. He said his qualifying was poor. His race seemed even poorer, unfortunately. FaZe Monkey, that Kick Sauber team, looking decent. 7th for UU1P on Tier 1 debut. And its last of the running order for Yari Spams L2 was looking so good for a while. But it just takes one mistake for things to go off. And there was no warnings from lap 8 to 12. And none from 13 through 17. And there was none in the last 3 laps. Incredible scenes here. But we'll be back shortly for probably some interviews. And we're back live. Firstly, at the end of the race, we had a team radio message from Hyper295F1, and he wasn't very happy.
Here's your fucking Hyper voice note for the race. Dennis, or whatever your name is, you're a genius, mate. Nice one. Take out your own team, mate.
Interesting stuff from Hyper295F1. But on the podium in P3 for the second time in 2 weeks is Nathan23 Callum. Nathan, how'd that race go for you, man?
Well, I mean, another podium, second week in a row, but I felt the race was not great, I have to be honest. I could have been up there and maybe battle for the win, but that safety car came out the wrong time. I was just out the pits and it came out, so not what I wanted, but we'll move on with it.
Yeah, your timing for a pit stop was bit all over the place. I mean, it was also the worst for the guy that just joined the call in Hyper, because both of you pit at the same time. But Nathan, you kind of gained the reputation in the league as being the one that kind of kills his tyres. Yet you ran the longest stint on mediums in that race. So how do you manage to pull that miracle off?
Well, I had a league race the other day in Saudi Arabia as well, so I knew how bad the tyre wear was around here. So my plan was, I knew the mediums would be dead at the end of, the hards would be dead at the end of the race if you went early. So I tried to stay out as long as I could, and I tried to do a bit of tyre saving, but also the first few laps push to keep up the lead, and yeah.
Yeah, so second race in 2 weeks now that you have gotten a podium, and that's going to solidify Kick Sauber again in that constructors fight that you were having. Next up is Miami for round 4. Is that a track you've got much confidence at, or is that one of the ones you think you'd be a bit weaker at?
Well, I don't really know, but I do like the track itself, so hopefully I can keep up the pace again, and hopefully me and Face Monkey can get that constructors. But obviously, I'm here to show that I'm fighting for the championship, so hopefully I can get maximum points next week in Miami.
Beautiful. ST, do you have any questions for Nathan?
Yeah, I want to ask what happened there with Face Monkey, that collision between you two.
I didn't have any collision with him. He's just saying I sent a move on him. I let him through and he didn't want to let me back through. So I sent it from like a 10.5 back and he was not happy. But there was no contact in the move.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for coming along, Nathan. It's a good race from you once again. Hopefully we'll see even stronger come Miami next week. Now, next up, we will have Rian, and this time I will be jump scaring him because Ours Joker wasn't happy with how his race went. He's not going to join us for an interview today. So let's bring in Rian. He's not got anyone speaking with him right now, so hopefully he's not going to be screaming something random down the mic. Rian, welcome in.
No, well, thank you.
Right, first race win in Formula Aero. How's it feel after what was a poor race last week?
Yeah, Brazil was just an absolute shell. So to come back and win in Saudi, got the good comeback there. So I had to box for the hards. Knew the mediums wouldn't work out. Got the Aston at the end. I mean, I was going to get him anyway due to the pens, but yeah, feels good.
Yeah, I mean, looked a bit tricky at points, obviously. Safety car, I think, worked a bit more in your favour than it did for some people. What made that decision easier for you to box rather than stay out compared to other people?
Well, I had front wings, so I had a bit of front wing damage because I had an incident with the Aston Martin, and we were both on the wall. So I had front wing, so I had to serve that, go on mediums, and then I decided, well, I was only going to lose one position if I boxed the hards, so I just went in for the hard tyres and ended up working out beautifully.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've been saying for the first couple of races this season that you did want to win quite early on. In Spain, it looked likely. Last week, obviously, a bit of a mess. Next week's Miami. Are you thinking bring it back, run it back again next week?
Yeah, I mean, Miami's a good track for me, so I can get some good practice in again. Hopefully go for another win, but it's not going to be easy with Quiet Boy. Hopefully Jonesy's back. What's the Des Mucky, the Aston Martin. It's not going to be easy, but yeah.
Yeah, and just finally, I think a question that might be lingering on some people's minds because it's not looking quite so good in the constructors right now for Haas. Obviously, Kick Sauber and Williams kind of looking like the better lineups generally right now. What are your thoughts now that your teammate's DNF for the third week in a row?
Well, I mean, he disqualified today. I don't know what the fuck he was on, but yeah, nah. Constructors might just have to leave that for a season. Just focus on the drivers for now.
Yeah, all right. Well, we can certainly hope. Aston Martin looking like they'll have a stronger lineup if Des Mucky, I believe, is a full-time driver for them now.
Yeah, they've got a really good lineup there with Jonesy Boy and the other guy that came like fifth today, or whatever. Yeah, Des Mucky. Yeah,
P6, I believe, at the end after all those after his penalty paid off.
Yeah,
but I mean, good job for you again, Rian. Obviously, speaking to you.
Yeah.
Didn't speak to you last week, spoke to you after Spain, and hopefully be speaking to you many more times throughout the rest of this season.
Yeah. Yeah, right, thank you.
And lastly, I mean, he joined the call anyway, so hyper interesting race for you, man. How's that feel?
Pretty good until we decided to have a genius drive.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get your voice note played until just before Nathan's interview earlier on. Just tell us what happened in that turn 22-23 with that contact. And
I take the corner normally. My guy decides, yeah, let's just brake on the apex. Doesn't brake till he hits me, right? Then, as I'm obviously taking a different line because I've just been taken out, he decides, yeah, let's send it as tight as we can to him and hit him again to take him out. And then try blame the other guy. That's some incredible leaps of intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you chose to start from last. Don't quite understand the decision-making logic behind that. But,
Wasn't really my choice, but
I mean, you said, why don't we start last? To me, just before the race. I mean, but it was a great drive until that point to get yourself up fighting for the win. Do you think your mediums would have made it comfortably to the end?
easily. I was like 20% where.
That's surprising because in the first stint you looked to be killing your hards.
It was the fuel. I was too high on fuel.
Oh yeah, you were a 40% wear worst tire when you ended up out.
Yeah.
That is some incredible stuff from you, Hyper. I mean, obviously, more races to come. Are you hoping that you maybe get the chance to come back in again, or do you think?
As long as
there might
Dennis
be
isn't racing, because the rest of it was all right, except for what was it? Whoever was the guy who just came up from tier 2. He was a bit, but he wasn't bad to race.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to come up to tier 1 because, well, I gave him the option to because he's been getting absolutely shafted in tier 2, and I think he might be getting the chance to do this full time because
I mean, I would. He has small errors. I noticed. Like, I went alongside him into I think it was turn 4, and he just tried to take me out of it. He didn't give any room. Like, that's small stuff though. Like, that's not like
it's fixable.
yeah.
It's not intentional.
It's not ramming your teammate into a corner like and then hitting him again.
All right, well, thank you, Hyper. We're just going to wrap it up now. So thank you all for coming along. We'll be back in another week's time. It'll be Miami for round 4 of Formula Aero. We'll only be seeing tier 1 next week as tier 2. I think needs a race just to mellow out. But thank you all for coming along. We'll see you all back here next week.